Gerald, you ever get high?
That was
Huh?
You ever get high?
No, I have not.
No.
He hasn't even gotten a hug. How would you
That's a
expect to get high?
surprise. No way.
Is it really a surprise?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not
With,
even. I'm not even saying that as in like I'm expecting you to like actually be an
Yeah.
avid smoker. I'm just saying like for the experience.
like to try it? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I haven't. I mean, back when we were in whatever middle and high school, I always preached against it. But then, it's one of those things where you can't control other people's lives. And in my household, it was never a thing of topic of conversation. So I don't know. I just never. I mean, I feel like I would try it. I could talk about the time I got drugged one time.
rugged
by
by
Just
somebody
after
else.
that
by
booty.
my Asian friends. They gave me an edible, and I didn't know.
Oh.
But I mean, that's the only time I've ever experienced something of that
And
sort.
what was that experience? Did it actually like affect you? Or no?
Mm-mm. They only gave me like it's like one of those Pop-Tart edibles, and they only gave me like a quarter of it. I didn't feel shit.
So they
Gerald-
probably mixed it well enough to where it's not like super potent.
Right.
Gerald and I promised each other at like 9 years old that neither of us would smoke or drink,
Here we are.
and then
Here we
I
are.
got addicted to cigarettes in 6th grade.
Hey.
Hey, mom.
Hey, mom.
No, because like
Remember all the time that money was
my
missing?
experience with I guess homemade edibles was this guy. He ended up mixing weed with Nutella, and
Ooh.
Nutella?
he did not like portion it at all. I'm assuming he just fucking threw a batch in there and called it a day.
Mhm.
But he ended up making these sandwiches, not whatever you want to call them, with graham crackers. And he ended up giving me one, and I ended up taking it the first time. I taken it twice. The
Yeah.
first time was with Charlie. I don't know if you remember him or not.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out, and we ended up driving back to his place. And in the process, I was just like, dude, I have this. Like, I think I'm just gonna try like half of it. And he's like, nah, dude, don't be a pussy. Take the whole thing.
Oh my god.
So,
Of course.
That's what I did. I took the whole thing, and like it was just like escalating like crazy every single, I don't know, like 30 minutes. It just kept escalating, and it got to the point where he ended up going to work, and I didn't want to be home at the time because I didn't want my parents to see me like that.
Right.
So I end up asking him to like drop me off at Sierra's place.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was actually able to talk at that time. So by the time I get to her place, I couldn't talk at all. I was just smiling,
shit.
and I couldn't stop
Oh,
smiling. And her parents were home too, and like they were actually really cool about it, but it just kept getting worse because I ended up dry heaving like crazy. What?
I know.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I kept laughing, dude. I was laughing in the middle of your story because it wasn't. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I just
That's
I
one,
just kept
Billy.
dry heaving,
Right.
and then
That's one.
I end up going to the bathroom, and at one point I'm just like laying against or sitting against the wall next to the toilet. I'm just like this the entire time, just like moving my
God
head.
damn. They must have gave you a
So
shitload.
I was fucking dead, dude.
Dude.
And like the entire time, it felt like a whole day had passed by the time she ends up taking me home. But I was only at her house for like 2 hours.
Wow.
But
It's just going slow.
Was that the same day where I drove you somewhere like with the movies or some shit?
with the movies,
Like I think I picked you up from a movie or drove you to a movie or some shit. You and Charlie.
no.
I didn't go see a movie with you guys,
No,
but you were
with
super
Charlie, no.
high. You were super high one day when I drove you to the movies.
He doesn't remember because he was so high.
Yeah,
uh,
it was Seven Bridges too.
I remember what you're talking about because we were trying to play D&D. And like you didn't notice
Right.
that you thought it was just me fucking around, but it was actually me being high. No, it was a different time. That was some
Yeah.
other time. But yeah, that was my first
Dude.
experience with that edible.
Billy's in another fucking world
He
right now.
really is.
His shit is
His
so
webcam
unspoken.
gives
Fucking
it
trying to
just
fix my
gives
goddamn
no
webcam
fucks.
blur.
So
Yeah.
I guess now is not the time for Billy to tell his story.
Just trying to fix my blur, man. I can tell the story if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
tell
just-
tell us how you woke up today, Billy.
Well, I'll
Oh,
do it with a
man.
little prefacing of a couple days ago I was eating lunch and it was leftover biscuits and gravy. And I had gotten up, I can't remember what it was, if it was like to let the other dogs out or to use the bathroom or something. And my dog had gotten into my food, which she has never done before. She hasn't like jumped on my desk and eaten my food. But she did it this time. And yesterday, specifically last night, like the roommate's like, hey, like your dog had an accident. I was like, what do you mean she had an accident? And then on the fucking bed, there's shit. So we washed the sheets, washed the mattress or the covers, washed the mattress protectors, and washed all that shit. And this morning, when I wake up, it's like 11 o'clock, and I hear like dog fart, and then I just smell it, and I'm like, oh my fucking
Oh
god.
no.
And she had shit right next to me. Like it was close enough that like I could just smell it right off the bat.
Oh,
But it
God.
also like splattered onto my arm because of how I was sleeping. Somehow didn't get on any of the pillows, didn't get on the comforter. I ended up washing the comforter anyways, just in case. But yeah, it was just like fucking. And then when I said, Chloe, like what the fuck, she jumped down and squirted some all over the floor too.
Oh no,
I
dude.
was like, you son of a bitch. So she went outside and she stayed out there for a little bit.
So like, it's not in the same level, but I mean, it reminded me of Brad's story where he had this fucking sixth sense of just getting out the bed before it happened. When Kara ended up puking in the middle of the night.
Well, it wasn't a sixth sense. So Kara, and so what she ate before bed, for whatever reason, she had chocolate milk and she had popcorn, like within like the same few hours of
Oh my
going to
God.
bed, right?
Yeah.
And so just to picture like what it looks like when it comes up or whatever. But so I wake up, like I think I feel Kara like getting a little restless or whatever. So I like wake up because I'm a super light sleeper, and all I hear is the sound of an exorcism happening through her bowels up through her chest because I hear and then just she turns and
Oh my
pukes
God.
all over like the wall and into our vent and everything. And she's over there puking. And I think I go and grab the trash can or something, or she already had the trash can, but I run out of the room and I go, I'm not walking in there, also I'm puking. I'm sorry. But so I told Kara years ago that I am a scream puker. When I throw up,
Scream.
I scream.
Dude, I do too.
Right. Okay. So I'm not the only one. Apparently that's like a guy thing.
Yeah,
like
because
girls
I
don't
never
typically do
hear
that.
women do that. Like it's always
Yeah.
the most silent thing ever. Like
Right.
yeah,
But when I say scream puke, Gerald, I mean
Yeah.
like. And Kara did not believe me.
Yeah.
And the last time before like my recent couple times, I think the last time I puked was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. The time before that was the same year, and before that I must have been like 10, like over 10 years in between me puking. So Kara had never heard me puke before, and the first time when I went through all my kidney stone shit, I was in the ER, or I was in the urgent care, which is like this is like a clinic and not an ER because I had to get moved to the ER. I wasn't feeling good. The urgent clinic's like, hey, you have to, go to the ER to actually get this taken care of. So Kara goes out to go get the car, and as she's going, I puke all over the room.
Oh,
so
fuck.
she doesn't know anything about this, and
Yeah.
I get wheeled out in a wheelchair, and she's like, what the fuck happened in the 2 minutes I was gone?
I was going.
But fast forward a couple months later, I got Five Guys,
Yeah.
and I got food poisoning.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you
And
guys what if you guys had any food poisoning stories because I have one.
yeah, so I got food poisoning, and they're again like this is like I am really sick. I've been shitting all day. I put my trash can next to the bed, and it's one of those where I wake up in the middle of the night, and I was nice enough to like take it and then like run out with it, and
Yeah.
I'm just projectile vomiting. And Kara, after it all's done, is like, "I didn't believe you when you said you scream puked," and I'm like, "Yeah." But I think those are the only two times I have recently. I used to have like a fear of puking because I remember like that time when I was 10, I had trouble puking where I'd like hurt my chest really bad, and I couldn't like get anything up. Like I was dry heaving, and for years I just remembered that, so I would avoid puking as much as I could, like the plague. So
Yeah.
but now that the last two times I've done it, like I still don't want to, but I think I'd be more comfortable doing it now because it's like the immediate relief after you throw up is so nice.
Right.
Other than like the burning and the nasty.
Oh my god, I hate that. Especially when you don't have any food in your system and you've been throwing up.
Yeah.
Everything comes out acid. But one time, well, when I was working at the school district I was working at for IT work, every year I would get food poisoning, and it wasn't like a thing. It was just like, okay, well, I like to eat out a lot, so me and my wife, or was girlfriend at the time, would go and eat out, at these different places. But specifically for this story, we went. Me and my coworkers, there was like 14 of us, went to Steak and Shake in our hometown. And so if you guys, well, whatever. So we had the Steak and Shake, and then I went back into one of the schools, and this was during the summer, where all the kids were out, and it was just only faculty. But for whatever reason, they had the water shut off at the school, the middle school that we were working in. So I had to go, for whatever reason, I had to go really bad, and the first time I went, it was just number one. So I was like, okay, good. Like we're straight. Like whatever. I'm feeling the bubbliness, but I only have 4 hours more to go, so I can kind of muscle it out. Another hour goes by. I go number one again, but I felt like I needed to go number two, but I was like, whatever. I'll just kind of whatever. Then I needed to go number two, but I didn't know that the water was shut off at the time, so I went in. There's obviously in the middle schools there's staff bathrooms and kids bathrooms, but the kids weren't there, so I went into the kids bathroom. So I went number two. The thing didn't flush. I was like, shoot,
God.
like right, okay. I was like, all right, maybe just this wing of the school is shut off. So then another hour go by. There's only like 2 more hours left in the day. I needed to go number two again. I was like, okay, this is food poisoning for sure. I go to the faculty bathroom. I go and I couldn't flush again. I was like, oh shoot, man, this is not looking good. But then after this time, I felt like I needed to throw up. So I told my boss at the time, I was like, hey, like, I need you to relocate me to a different school, or send me home because I'm not feeling good at all. So he ended up sending me home. I get home and I sit on the toilet. I kid you not. I'm sitting on the toilet, water, liquid. This was at my first place in our hometown, and next to us was a bathtub, and I had to go number two and throw up at the same time. I've never felt so weird in my life, dude. I literally sat on the toilet, looked to my left, was puking and going number two at the same time, dude. Not only that, it was just a whole like experience that I couldn't like even like fathom what was going on. And then after all that stuff, after all the cleanup, I slept for 16 hours.
Jesus.
I probably broke like a fever while I was sleeping, but I didn't wake up to feel it because I woke up sweating. But then like I woke up and then I was like, oh, well, I'm fine. Like everyone was like looking for me the next day at work, and I was like, hey guys, sorry, this stemmed from my food poisoning yesterday, but it knocked me out. It literally knocked me out. It was crazy.
Damn.
Food poisoning. I don't know who else has had food poisoning, but it's rough.
It's rough, dude.
Like it like the way it attacks your system just make like what he said, like it just makes you so fucking tired.
So
It takes so much out of you.
Does food poisoning naturally have to come out both ends like that, or
I've
I
only had
don't
that
think it
happen
has
once.
to,
Yeah, I've only had that
because
happen
I
once.
remember specifically, this was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago. Back when I was working as a janitor at a school, I remember eating White Castle, and I know what to expect after eating White Castle, but this
Yeah.
time, for whatever reason, I couldn't leave the bathroom longer than maybe a half hour before having to go back. And like
Oh my God.
I wasn't puking at all, but I just had to keep going, dude. Like
Yeah.
in that shift of like 7 hours, I probably went a good 8 to 10 times maybe.
Yeah.
And
I believe it.
And it was like that for a good week or so. But I never puked from it. I mean, I think that's the closest thing I've ever had to food poisoning. But
So the only thing that I feel like separates my puke story from all the rest of the times I had food poisoning is so that Steak and Shake that was in our hometown closed down because of a rat infestation.
Is that why it closed?
Yes. Yeah. And then they opened it up again, right? They opened it up again recently. Then they closed again recently. so I mean, I don't know, it's kind of gross, but like, hey, like we didn't know at the time.
Before I get to the story, I know it's a little late, but welcome to the Mere Nonsense podcast. This is our buddy Gerald. We've
What up, guys?
me and Brad have
What
known
up?
him since elementary school. Brad's known him longer, but
Jayneverstops on Twitch.
Yeah. Can I just say, dude, I'm like a huge fan of you guys. And this is like, and it's funny because okay, let me just get into this real quick as a side tangent. When you guys started this whole thing, right? Like during the pandemic, that was when I first like sparked the idea of like, hey, I want to be on Twitch too. Like I want to be with these guys, but I didn't have the funds or the the PC power that I was basically making a whole bunch of excuses as to why I couldn't stream. But then watching you guys and watching you build a community and being like this leaders of like whatever like you guys wanted to do, like that was so cool to me. And then you guys started a podcast and I was like, bro, that's crazy, because that's exactly like the steps and the mindset that I wanted to do for myself, or with a group of people. So every time like I talk to a group of people that are like, hey, like I want to start a podcast, I was like, dude, let me tell you what my homeboys are doing. And I would literally tell them that like, like they would stream together, and then they would like promote each other's streams, and then build a whole community, start a Discord channel, all this stuff. And it was like, I was like, those are my guys, and that's the step-by-step process that I'm taking in my like, I guess, build to Twitchdom or whatever. And yeah, I'm so thankful that you guys are a part of this thing, and like I can like look at you guys and be like, hey, but now I'm here and I'm on the podcast, so I'm living right now.
That's awesome.
Am I the first guest? Am I the first guest or no?
No, you're the second.
Okay,
Our first guest
second
was
guest.
Zelma.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Enzomo. But like, dude, I was like, sorry to everyone who's listening to this and they wanted to be, and I just cut them. But I'm here.
Yeah, of all the people that we had to sift through. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we did start off with a huge group of people that wanted to like stream on Twitch together and kind of like build it together. Obviously, it didn't go the way we planned out, but
right.
Me and Brad have always wanted to do this podcast for I don't know, at least 5 years. And,
yeah.
Fun fact: the name of this podcast, it was between me, Z, and Charlie. The name of this podcast used to be called "Breakfast at Midnight."
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna go into. Because speaking of Steak and Shake, Me
Yeah.
and Charlie, and anytime Brad was available to join us, we would go out of our way at midnight to go to Steak and Shake, and
Or Denny's or
sometimes I'd go, I'd get some fries from there, but for the most part, it was getting coffee and just talking for a good 2 hours straight. Like, for some reason, at that moment, we could talk about anything, have the greatest conversations ever, and we wouldn't stop. We wouldn't stop for those 2 hours. And that's why we wanted to make a podcast afterwards. And we came up with that name, Breakfast at Midnight, which is a solid name, but we also do like Mere Nonsense is obviously the one that we went with.
Right.
If I'm being honest, I prefer Breakfast at Midnight just as a name because it sounds good. It
Right.
sounds. But my
does.
problem is I don't want to convey this podcast as a food podcast.
Right.
We're all fat, but this isn't a food podcast.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say I can bring out like some pancakes for the
Right.
Right.
I mean, what do you mean, Brad? We've been eating every podcast.
I want to say this is the first podcast I haven't stuffed my face,
nice.
and I haven't even taken a sip of anything. I usually have 3 drinks that I'd sift through all podcasts. I haven't even touched one.
He really does. But yeah,
so-
I mean, we stopped talking to Charlie, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Hopefully he's doing good, but
Yeah.
it was just me and Brad, and we always wanted to have at least one other person just to bounce
Mhm.
off of in case, for some reason the two of us can't really, bounce off like every single time we talk. And hanging out and talking to Billy all the time on Discord, it was pretty much natural for us. Like we would always have something to say to each other, and that's what we went with. So I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. Billy over here is the perfect third for you guys. And I want to say just because, like, first off, Billy as a character is awesome. And I love creating Havoc as a character on Twitch and everything. And I feel like he has the best responses for you guys. Just because it's like it's different. It's like it goes well with what you guys are talking about and everything. And overall it just feels like a good vibe around you.
I mean,
you three.
it really
Billy,
is.
is your-
'Cause, like,
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Billy, is your ass wet with like how many kisses? That just
It's a little moist.
Hey, man.
Kiss ass.
Just a little bit.
I mean, like we all have our similarities, but
Yeah.
we do have a lot of things that we don't really agree with.
Mhm.
But I mean,
But that's magic. That's magic. right there.
that kind of helps out in the situation of just throwing in our different opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
of
having
course.
hair.
Of course.
Yeah, like having hair.
And my thing is that I'm like an enabler, so whatever you guys preach, I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's fucking do it. You can go think about going killing babies. I'm like, yeah, fucking let's go, bro. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
let's
do
go
it.
do it.
Let's do it.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like anything that you guys are like preaching, I'm like, yo, hell
Let me
yeah.
just say, Billy is a character. It's not his real name. It's just
It's not his real name.
There you go. There you
It's just
go.
a character we created.
How did it even start? Jesus.
Well, Mango calls you Bailey.
No,
Well,
it
no.
was
So
because when I was first introduced to Z, through our mutual friend Carson, he knew me through ROTC, so he knew me as Bailey. So when I met Z, he was like, "Hey, this is Bailey." He's like, "Oh, well, actually, his first name is Chris, but I call him Bailey because that's what we call him." And so then it went from
Yeah.
Bailey to there was something before
we
Billy.
were
What was
always
it?
trying to call you some weird name. I would call you Baylord, Bailiff.
You freaking Mango would call me Billiard or some shit.
Yeah. And then Mango out of nowhere just said Billy. I'm just like, of course. Why didn't we think of this before? Like, it's so simple and stupid.
Love it.
And
thus
so
Billy and Bilky were born.
I joined, like, started playing with you guys pretty late. Like you guys kind of already established everything before I joined, and you guys were already calling him Billy. And I didn't learn for like a year that your name was actually Chris. But I have refused to call you by your first name ever.
Yeah,
I am only
yeah.
going to refer to you as Billy
That's
or
fine.
Bilky.
Well, now I learned something today because there you go. I thought it was Billy this whole time. So
I mean, it's even gone to the point where his friends are just like, why are they calling you Billy?
I mean, so like, who's Billy? Like, even my parents who pop into my streams sometimes are like, Who's Billy? Like, oh, that's just what they call me. Just the nickname for him.
Awesome.
I honestly do have to be reminded that Billy's not your name. Like Z was just starting that and it's just like, oh yeah, that's the thing. I forgot.
There's a lot of
Um,
weird things about me. Billy's not my name. My parents are in my Twitch streams. A lot of people seem to forget those two things.
You have six dads and 4 moms.
Mm.
No.
Exactly.
4 dads, 2 moms.
Mm.
6 total.
Specific.
So I think I think Billy and I were the start of the Twitch thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't remember. It was Panda, right? So Billy and I talked about it a little bit. I've always wanted to stream. I think Billy always wanted to stream.
Yeah.
But Panda was the one who he was the one that was already streaming, and I was like, oh, so it's kind of easy, to start
Yeah.
it. And then me and Billy kicked off, and we did like a little race thing to see who could get 100 followers first, or whatever it was, or the 50, whatever you need to. For
Z
affiliate.
was with us too in the beginning.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, in
Right.
the end, I was always more of one of those guys that wanted to just, record videos and put them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Streaming's
No,
cool
that's
and all,
dope.
but I could never get into it like you guys could.
I would
sure.
love to stream again. It's a
That
money
laptop.
thing right now.
Yeah, you just
yeah,
need the
not
laptop.
on
I
this
get it.
laptop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need the
Yeah.
proper equipment. That's all.
Right.
Right.
And like even for the podcast, so the mic I have, I would say is okay, right?
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah,
not
it's not
not
bad.
bad, not great.
I think for the most part, it's just the webcam right now.
Yeah, webcam. I just need to fix that, or need a new one.
Mhm.
But so I would like to actually get a streaming like PC, eventually. And one thing too is if so I think we all agree that this is something that we're just doing for us.
Yeah. Oh, for
And if people start to follow, great, but we're doing this because we're friends and we want to talk and we think this is entertaining,
sure. Oh yeah.
But that being said, if it does start to pick up a little bit, I 100% wouldn't mind putting money into PC, putting money into Photoshop, actually creating a logo, actually, editing the videos if we need to.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, as of right now, like I'd still like to at least a little bit, but I just like shooting the shit. Like this,
Right.
Yeah, no, hell
this is
yeah.
very
This is really
therapeutic
fun.
for me.
Yeah.
It's awesome. No,
I
it's
really
so cool.
enjoy talking to you guys.
Especially after having a long day. You just
It's
Yeah.
good.
like we did take a couple breaks here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, whenever we come back
Mostly-
to this, it's just always fun.
Mostly
Yeah.
tech issues for the breaks.
Yeah, but more
tech
so
issues and
recently
work
was
schedules.
because of the work schedule for me, at least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this is therapeutic. Like I work 10.5-hour days before I do this, so I
Right.
get off and immediately do this. And even if I'm in a bad mood, like you guys have noticed multiple times, I've gotten on the podcast in a bad mood, and I usually cheer up within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Usually
is
because
so-
the camera goes blurry.
Which is essentially what this whole thing was about, really. I mean, just
Yeah.
our way of just talking to each other because we're not always talking to each other throughout the week.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Even
I
though
was
I sit in
excited.
Discord alone for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually has gotten to the point though where sometimes we'll like start to say something and like save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Shit. Which
Not-
I don't know if you guys had anything else to say.
Nah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The one thing I want to talk about, the Batman came out.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched it. Z hasn't watched it. Gerald, have you watched it?
I have not. No.
So Z's hearing different things, but I'm hearing it.
Oh no, I was just
killing
bullshitting
it.
you.
People, oh, okay, yeah, people love it.
So, yeah, he was telling me that all the reviews were great, and like I instantly responded with, "Yeah, no, I've been hearing the opposite. Everyone hates it."
because you're an asshole and you have to.
Exactly.
We always have to bullshit each other like that.
Right. No,
Um,
but yeah, everyone that has watched it, I want to say 3 things I've heard. Either, Robert Pattinson's the best Batman ever.
Wow.
Arguably the best comic book movie ever. Arguably the best Batman movie ever. And those are usually the 3 main things that I hear about for that movie. And
I
that
heard
says a lot.
Zoe. I heard Zoe carried the movie too,
Right?
as well.
Oh,
She's
that's
she's
awesome.
Catwoman, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Catwoman. That's awesome.
Mm.
I was really excited. I am excited to see how she, brings that character to life because although I actually really did enjoy Anne Hathaway playing because
Me too. Yeah.
you've all seen it, right? Dark Knight
Mhm.
Rises.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the bar scene when she's like playing a double agent pretty much. You know, she's there for a meeting or whatever, and then she double crosses them with bringing in the police, and then she pretends to be like some random witness there and like screaming her ass off or whatever, and then
Mhm.
walking away like nothing ever happened. I was like, dude, that was amazing. Like that was
Yeah.
to me, I
Mhm.
felt like that was probably the best portrayal of Catwoman to date, even though people would say differently because of what's her name, Michelle Pfeiffer playing the first Catwoman.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
People
Yeah.
really love her playing that, which I mean, you know, she did good, but that was
Right.
just me. But yeah, that's Zoe's character is probably the one I'm looking forward to most, just because, yeah, we've been seeing a bunch of different Batman, but we don't really get, you know, all those other side characters that help him out. Like we didn't get Robin in the Dark
Mhm.
Knights trilogy. And people like to point out that, yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was supposed to be like a Robin type character, but no, fuck that. He wasn't Robin.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
But
just his middle name.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
I do like seeing Batman be on his own, but I do also love seeing him with the rest of the Bat family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I'm interested to see if they add anyone in. So I'm just looking at the cast right now. Like Andy Serkis, I'm excited to see him as Alfred.
oh yeah,
Um, Jeffrey Wright is James Gordon. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Zoe Kravitz, I can't really think of anything she's in.
I don't think I've seen her in any movies.
She's Mad Max.
Mad Max. Was she
Uh,
one of those brides?
Toast the Knowing, so I think so.
Gotcha.
She's in Divergent. She's in X-Men First Class. She was Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
She's in
If she
X-Men
was,
First
so you
Class?
said X-Men First Class, she might have been that butterfly type of character.
Angel Salvador. And I think you're right because I think Angel, she was like a stripper or whatever, and like she had like the angel wings, quote unquote.
Something,
I think you're
yeah.
right.
And then
Yeah,
Divergent. I've seen those movies, but I don't remember them at all, so I wouldn't know.
I think I've only seen the first one. Gemini, Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, she's in
The
some
guy that
decent stuff, just
plays
not as like
Yeah.
main
the guy that plays
characters.
Jim Gordon though, like he's always top notch. I really love seeing him in
Oh,
the big screen.
100%.
So that's another one. Bringing back the big stash for Jim Gordon.
Yep. He's
Cops with
he's
giant
done a
mustaches.
oh he's a watcher in the What If series.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's cool.
I think
I never actually watched all the What If series.
that was actually
I
pretty
haven't
good.
either. Yeah.
My favorite role so far that guy played in was I don't know if you guys saw it, Source Code, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I
Where-
watched it. I
was it
don't
Source
remember
Code?
much
We
of it.
talked about it before.
Yeah,
Source
I
Code is
watched it, but I don't remember.
yeah, he's Dr. Rutledge in Source Code.
Was it Source Code that I'm thinking of, where he's Jake Gyllenhaal is like thrown into
He's in
this
someone else's body.
AI version of a incident that already happened, and they're just trying to find the guy who left the
And he
bomb
has to
there.
keep replaying it,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so
So-
it's like a Groundhog Day thing, but he like keeps going in the body of a person who was at
Right.
the accident, and he
Right.
has to keep hunting down different details to figure it out.
Yeah, that movie was awesome.
I forgot all about that. That was a good movie.
I feel like I watched that in like cinema class in high school.
Super
Could've
underrated.
studied-
Actually,
studied it.
that's where I saw it too.
Oh
In high
really?
school. Yeah, cinema
Nice.
class.
I may have watched it in high school that as well because we all had the Brown brothers, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
But we had Timmer in one of them, right? Brad.
So Timber was TV video basic,
Hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then,
that's the one.
and then the Brown brother was advanced TV video.
Right. But yeah, Batman.
Uh,
It's looking to be a really good Batman movie.
So is it gonna be
So-
like a trilogy or no?
I
Is it
would
just
not be surprised,
We
Mhm.
don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
especially with how well it's being received right now.
Yeah, for
which-
sure.
And
I'm kind of nervous for at the same time because there was a lot of pushing back the movie. Like originally this movie was supposed to be out in like between 2018 and 2020 if everything went well. but they just kept pushing it back. I remember they lost. I think they lost the director before Matt Reeves got. Oh yeah, because it was supposed to originally be Ben Affleck, and he was supposed to be directing it and starring in it. But
and then he got too much shit for Justice League or whatever that he was like, I don't think I'm gonna be part of this or whatever.
I don't think that was entirely. It was probably a bunch of other things going on, but yeah, he at the end of it he just ended up backing away from it, which is upsetting because he had supposedly a really good story because they were going to introduce Deathstroke into that one, and Joe Manganiello, or however you pronounce his last name, like I think he would have been a really good Deathstroke.
Yeah. So, quick Google search. Ben Affleck revealed that it was after a chat with his friend Matt Damon that he decided to step away from the role of Batman. He said he had a quote-unquote nadir experience around Justice League. I had to actually look up what the word nadir meant. So nadir means the lowest point in the fortunes of a person or organization.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, around that time, he was also dealing with going back to rehab again, and then losing his wife. What's her name? Jennifer Gardner, I think.
So didn't they get divorced?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So don't blame the guy.
There's a lot of stuff.
Isn't he dating J-Lo now?
Dude, I've seen pictures of him with fucking Ana de Armas.
Yeah.
And he ended up losing a bunch of weight when he was with her, so it's like that was funny.
Do you guys remember the picture that came out where he was like in like a t-shirt or whatever, but his like gut, or I think he's shirtless, but his guts hanging out. He has a cigarette.
Yeah,
and he's just like done with life.
Yeah.
Life.
He's got a giant back tattoo, like his whole back is covered, and I think he's got a dragon on there.
Interesting.
So that's
you would do something like that.
Especially with the
I would
with the Batman series, I'm always excited for the villains. Like I hope that they don't go straight into like Joker. You know, like I hope we get a like, so this one's Riddler. Like Joker might be in this, I don't know, but like this one's the Riddler.
I mean, looking at the trailer, there's some of you can see with Joker's henchmen.
Yeah. That's one thing I really like about the Arkham games is like all the different villains that you get to fight and all that.
Yeah.
Because like the villains in Batman are fucking weird. And that's kind of what I like.
They've always got some kind of tragic backstory too.
Right.
Yeah.
If they could pull it off, I would love to see Mr. Freeze as a villain.
I was just thinking that.
I would too.
Because that story is just amazing. I mean, his story originated through the animated series. And then they, made that canon and part of the comic book series, just like Harley Quinn originated in the show. So seeing Mr. Freeze and his story, that would be fucking awesome. I think
bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, the governor.
Having ice time, some shit like that.
I want him to come back with all the TV puns.
I was gonna chill.
Where's my super suit? Oh man.
Can they do like a multiverse crossover and bring back Jim Carrey's Riddler?
Oh my
god. Oh my god.
Just like the was that Spider-Man No Way Home?
Oh man.
It's all the Batman villains.
Right.
That'd be so dark, dude. That'd be so dark.
Okay, but if
all
they
the
do
Jokers.
If they do bring back the Joker, would you do you have any idea who you would want as that actor?
No.
Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner.
Twilight all over again, baby.
So specifically for his looks, because he can be really creepy, Bill Skarsgård. He's just a weird looking dude, so I could see that.
Absolutely, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say Willem Dafoe, but like,
I think he'd be a good Joker, but I think he'd play a different villain better.
I think if he were to be Joker, just because of the age, I I would only want to see him with like Ben Affleck's character because they're both pretty old at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Robert Pattinson is close to 40, if not at 40, but he doesn't look it. I mean,
No, not at all. No.
he could still go with like a younger villain that's not the age of Willem Dafoe. He's like what, in his 60s, maybe close to 70.
It's the vampire blood.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Right. I mean, he
how
kicked ass.
about Jim Carrey as the Joker?
Mm.
No, Jim Carrey will always be my Carnage.
Yeah.
Fan casting Carnage.
So I looked up just like fan cast for it. People are saying David Tennant, but like, so did you guys watch Jessica Jones?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that first season.
He played such a fucking good. What's his name? Kilgore, something like that.
Kilgrave.
Kilgrave. Yeah. So David Tennant, for one, for if you guys don't know, is he's most known to play as the Doctor in Doctor Who. He had one of the longest stints as the Doctor. Really funny, charismatic guy. But he played a bad guy in Jessica Jones, where his power is using his voice. If he tells you to do something, you have to do.
Oh.
And he is quiet.
Terrifying.
He is quiet, meticulous, and very calm with everything he does. And it sends a shiver down your spine with how fucking good he is at it. And then the times where he does get loud and mad, it's just like,
yeah.
And it's like, and it's scary because he's like, he'll literally walk into a police precinct and go in a pretty calm voice, "I want all of you to kill each other right now," and they'll just do it, and that's it. That's the scene.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, imagine if that was a real fucking thing. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So between his character and then the Bullseye character in season 3 of Daredevil, I think those were the only times that I've genuinely felt terrified of a villain in a role, because it was just like you didn't know what to expect from them. Like they could literally destroy anything in a matter of moments.
Right. And so the whole thing about Jessica Jones, the whole thing was like an abusive relationship. He would like tell her to do things, and she's just like super strong, like that's her thing. So he would use her to like kill people, and it was just brutal.
Right.
But he is an amazing actor in general. I love him.
Apparently, David Tennant, according to his IMDb, is the voice of Scrooge McDuck in the new DuckTales.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Perfect.
Let's go.
Love that.
Do you have off the top of your mind a favorite show growing up, Gerald?
Favorite show growing up? Oh man, there's a lot. I guess the only one that sticks out to me really is I don't even know. Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's pretty cool.
Solid.
That one was the only one that really came up to my mind, just because I like the story, and it was just cool to see like different types of elementals being used in different scenarios. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Your name was DBZ Boy 16 for how many years?
Yes. So of course, Dragon Ball. I don't even know if you can see it.
Top
Dragon
shelf.
Ball up there is my go-to. But dude, they've told the Dragon Ball story so many times that it's just not like as deep as people like make it out to be. And even with Dragon Ball Super, like it's still not deep. So I can't even put that like on my. It's just something I grew up with type thing.
Growing up is you realizing that Goku is a shitty fucking dad.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Piccolo's the real dad.
Yeah. No, and it like, and you play all the video games that come out for Dragon Ball, and it's the same thing every single time. Same story every single time, and it's like I can only like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan for so much. You know what I mean? Like after that, it's just like.
And now at this point, it's just leveling up the Super Saiyans.
Right,
Like,
right. It's all power based.
how
Hey,
far do they go? Like,
Ultra Instinct is new.
all right, but what
Yeah,
about
I
God?
loved it.
Imagine like having a God
God
form,
form?
right? And
Yeah.
then something is actually better than that.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the fuck is better
exactly.
than a God form? Like,
Hey, it's just like you
shouldn't have-
get
KO
they should have
Ken
not
God
named it.
form,
Like,
duh.
come on, man. Just like I never even watched the show, but
Yeah.
just bring back Broly and kill everyone. Call it a day.
He
Oh,
did. He
he's
did.
canon. He's canon now. So
His movie, I didn't watch it, but I've seen a lot of
His
clips.
movie
It
was
is so
good.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
he's
It was
cool.
good.
anything with
He's
anything
cool.
with Broly always caught my attention with that show. Like I never really cared about the show, but when Broly popped up, I was like, yeah, this is the guy.
He's fucking yeah. His movie was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah,
It was a
I
good
need to
movie.
watch it.
It's good.
Did you ever like delve into anime aside from Dragon Ball? Or no?
Me?
Yeah.
So I only got into Naruto and this really weird and obscure, I don't know if you guys seen it, on Netflix called Elven Lied. Have you guys seen that?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
I've
So
only
I've
heard of
seen
it.
it might pop up in my queue, but I haven't.
yeah.
watched it.
So it's pretty interesting. It's very rated R. And it's basically a story of like scientific creatures or man-made little girls that I don't know, it's like weird to talk about it, but it's like little girls that were man-made that have like these invisible arms they're called vectors. And basically you meet the main character and another person who's man-made, and they go and basically shut down the whole operation. But it's pretty cool. Claymore, have you guys ever heard of Claymore? Claymore is
I've heard of
another
Claymore.
Yeah.
Claymore is another good one.
Never watched it though.
Yeah, no, and then I didn't really get into that. Besides that, I mean, Demon Slayer obviously recently, but I
Right.
haven't seen the movie or the second season yet. So
Elfen Light is under Dark Horse Comics. Z.
Interesting.
Surprisingly, I mean that's it. They're just licensed by them, but
Okay.
I thought you were gonna go with a Powerpuff Girls stance there, where it's like, yeah, they're these girls that were created for their dad to fight a super monkey.
Well, that's what I like. That's what I love. That's what I love about anime. It's like you start getting into something and you start to learn the story, and then out of nowhere, just flip of the switch. Attack on Titan, flip of the switch. You know what I mean?
So like
So
that reminds me, it was always weird. Like right after high school, seeing this one guy on Facebook just constantly talking about the new My Little Pony. Like anything new My Little Pony, he would always talk about it.
Fuck
yeah.
bronies.
Like I thought he was bullshitting half the time until I found out later on after like a year or so of him constantly talking about it that he was dead ass into it. Like he fucking watched the show. He collected the ponies.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's crazy.
to each their own. But
Do I know
just
who it
blew
is?
my
Is he-
mind. Yeah, you both.
Can you
did.
type it in chat?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you after.
Okay, I'm interested. I have a guess. But
But like, that just blew my mind. I'm just like, I always, because you never hear that, especially from a guy that's like
100%.
21 or whatever. You know, I don't know. I just thought of that when you were talking about Elfen Lied for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't want to put Gerald on the spot.
Yeah.
And you can tell me no. Can you point out the one most expensive thing that's behind you right now?
The most expensive thing
not a part of like your gaming setup. I mean like a part of your collection.
One of those shoes.
What is the most expensive thing?
Well, what are we talking about? Are we talking about resale value, or are we talking about like
as a collector?
Just like
as a collector.
Oh man.
I guess resale value. Like if you had something that you could resell right now, who would probably put the most money
and then
for
also your favorite thing after.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I mean, I think it's an easy. Well, it's kind of a cop out. This one.
It's got to be shoes, right?
Yeah. So this one is a shoe.
Destiny shoes.
Destiny shoes. It's
that new LeBron.
Okay,
James.
all right. So obviously, in recent times, a very famous basketball player passed away, Kobe Bryant, and I was lucky enough to get his. This is the last shoe that he released, I believe, before he passed away, um, and they were based off the 2000 and I want to say 2016 um, Christmas game where I believe he played against the. Oh my God, who did he play against? The Lake or the Heat? I think he was playing against the Heat, which LeBron was at the time. So these are the Kobe, and they call it the Kobe 6 because this is the 6
Clean.
model. Uh, they're called the Grinches because obviously the green, the Grinch. And I bought these shoes. I have the receipt. So I bought these actually on for resale because I couldn't get it legitly through when they released it. But I paid. Can you guys want to guess how much I paid for these?
$125.
More.
Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Let's all say number. Billy, 125.
200.
Okay.
475.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. I paid $437.25 for these.
See, I'm not a shoe head, but I know shoes are fucking expensive, bro.
Amazing.
I paid $400 for these
The
shoes.
fucking dedication for that,
And
man.
never wore
Look,
them once
just
in
by
your life.
looking
I
at
have
those
not.
shoes, that shit
have
looks
not.
like an awful time to clean. It honestly looks like the worst time ever to clean.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
about as
like
much work
it's
as a car
made.
looks.
It's made of like these like rubber like scales, and obviously because he's the Black Mamba or like a snake
Because
themed.
it just looks
thing.
like the
Right.
the vibrancy of the color can just fade away at a moment's notice.
So, with his death being a thing and the market being crazy as it is for shoes, these are and I can look it up. I'm pretty sure these are well over $700 now. So
Amazing.
I've made a profit, but at the same time, this is a personal purchase for myself.
Yeah.
And I love Kobe. I love Kobe, so he's one of my favorites.
Right.
So I had to have it. I had to have it.
Right.
So
And-
that was a game against the Clippers, Jay. They
The
played
Clippers?
against the Clippers. And if you're thinking 2016, it was LA versus Clippers. They ended up winning 111 to 102. It was the first game they've won in 12 games against the Clippers.
When
So they had an 11 losing streak against the Clippers, and then they won that game.
Got it.
What are the odds?
Okay, I'm sorry. 2010. That's when he did it.
It's a
I'm
big
looking at it right
difference.
now. Yeah, huge difference.
Was Kobe your favorite player?
He was not my favorite player, but he resembled Michael Jordan, who is my favorite player, but wasn't alive during his legacy. So LeBron, by default, is my favorite player.
Chicago kid.
But yes, Kobe wore them in 2010 against the Heat. I don't know why it's in 2016. My favorite thing in here, can I say, or well, let me just do something real quick. My favorite shoe in here is not even these. I don't care about these. My favorite shoe in here is these Adidas Dragon Ball collection
Of course.
shoes. PSA, I hate Dragon Ball. I'm just kidding. but the detail on these are crazy. Just because you have the Kobe, the Goku gi, and then they have the Nimbus, whatever the shit that he makes in the manga, the Nimbus hit here, and then the what's it called? The inside has Dragon Ball, everything. The box even is like if you stack them all like up, they make like a collage.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then on the back, it's like manga style, with the Dragon Ball on here with the Adidas sign inside of it. So yeah, that's cool, man. That's my favorite thing in here. Oh. But I,
Because he breaks it.
Oh,
That's my
damn.
favorite thing.
Well,
Is break.
it's not valuable anymore.
but I had collected all the shoes, and do you guys want to take a guess on how much all of it together was?
Everything?
$1,000.
Everything.
Everything in that
There's
room.
actually there. No. On the bottom part,
Oh.
it's every shoe in the
Was
collection.
that like six
Oh, you're
shoes?
talking about specifically Dragon Ball Z? The Dragon Ball Z
Yes,
shoe.
the collection.
2000.
Just $800.
That's what, like 7 pairs of shoes? It's got to be around $1,000.
Yes. So I paid a little over $1,000 for all of those shoes. So that's not
Did the
even
value go
bad
up
compared
as
to.
well, or no?
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can literally sell those for more money. If I want.
This is my mug. I got it as a gift.
Mm.
I love this.
All right,
hold
but
on.
like in all seriousness, do you guys have something collectible, I guess, that you really love?
Collectible? No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's. I wouldn't say that they're like a collectible thing that I really love, but we have this like little anime shop by us that I've always wanted to go to called Tasty Peach. And I actually live really close to it now.
Yeah.
But my friends who are also huge anime fans got me into the show called the time I got reincarnated as a slime. Super fun show, characters like super OP. But we went to the Tasty Peach and they had 5 miniature models. They're like $10, so they're not super expensive and they're not something that you could like sell for a lot. But it's pretty much just like different characters, like you got him in his a slime form, you got his little like I mean, it's a dire wolf kind of.
Yeah.
And then there's, different other characters and the main character, they all have their little like pedestals to stand on and whatnot. So just more like a fond memory of that thing, of them, as opposed to something that is going to be worth a lot.
Yeah, I don't collect things. I just have things that I like. Like I like Funko Pops. Like some are cool. And then like without like and I don't actually mean to kiss your ass, but this is actually really fucking cool. I like this shirt a lot. And then for Christmas, my mom got me the hoodie.
Hoodie. Yeah.
But I guess what might be worth actual money, which I doubt at this point.
While he's doing that, I don't know if it can.
I got
focus.
my Black Ops jersey.
Yeah.
My Blackhawks jersey. But it was signed by Ray Emery.
Oh.
So Ray Emery passed away in like 2017.
So that's got to be worth a lot now.
Not really. Yeah. I wouldn't think, because he was only a secondary goalie. He was a backup goalie. But the year I got this, though, he ended up beating. I think it was at least the Blackhawks record, but I think it was the league record for the amount of wins in a row for a goalie. So he had this. This is also the year that they won the championship. So all of that combined, my dad actually ended up winning it in a contest, and he gave it to me. So
amazing.
Yeah, I've worn it to shit. So
as you should.
And then another cool thing. Sorry, I have a lot of cool things that I like showing off. I pulled this on stream.
I actually saw that.
How much is it? How much is it? I saw that on your TikTok. How much is it?
So it's not that that much because it's a reprint for the celebrating the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. But this is obviously the base or the first edition Charizard, whatever. If it's a PSA 10, which so there's a whole thing with like, you guys know anything about card grading or anything like that? It's crazy. But basically, if you guys don't know, card grading, when someone looks at your card and you send it off to like PSA or anything like that, they look at the centering, they look to see if like all the borders are like perfect. They look at the back of the card to see if there's any white, like pick anything like that. And if you get a PSA 10, it's the highest value of the card. So a PSA
You have to
10.
pay like a decent bit of money to send it in.
Yeah. I think it's like, well, and that's why people like they send like a whole bunch of them in at one time, so that way they can save money because it's like expensive. But if it comes back at 10, this I believe is a $400 card if it's a 10.
That's still good.
That's amazing.
So
yeah.
My Gerald, my niece, I think, pulled the 10K one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, I have all these cards back here, all these packs, literally of Pokemon packs that I try to pull for the stream, if I get follows and stuff. But at any point, one of these can hold like a $300 value. So I'm just like,
Hey, you know what?
sitting on it.
I just realized we have the same headset, me and you. Joe.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. Great minds think alike, dude.
I just noticed because you have the charging station right behind the cards.
Oh yeah.
Mine's over here.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Dude, okay, wait, hold on, real quick. And there was a big debate between like for me to get the Astro A50s or the Arctix Pro. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you should get either or." And those are these are expensive headsets.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been using Astro ever since college. Like Astros was kind of like just like the one that like everyone was like, "Oh well, you got a pair of Astro." It was one of the first that like really blew up. Besides like Razer per se and Razer stuff, kind of.
Right, Astros were always they
Right.
always
They're like
had
the Mercedes
anyone
of
that had them.
yeah.
Anyone that had them always had good things to say about them. But when you look at the price value, you're just like, holy shit.
You're like, ooh.
So like
Yeah,
this is actually my first pair because like I always try to get like the best bang for my buck, but then like after 2 years in a row of dealing with like 3 headsets that just shit on me,
yeah,
like at the $100 value even,
yeah.
Like I was like, fuck it, dude. Like I'm gonna just bite the bullet and get this. And I mean, so far it's been good. I don't think I've had it for a year though.
So I have a whole thing. Okay. I had this whole thing. I don't know if you guys have time for this story, but I had this whole thing where gaming headsets versus using like a Bose headset and a mic. Like what's better of the two? So I went and spent a shitload of money testing this theory of why can't we use Bose headsets for like playing Far Cry or some shit, like, or playing whatever video game. And if Bose headsets or like anything like Beats or whatever are like the industry standard for like studio and whatever, like why can't we use it for gaming? So I went out and bought a Bose headset, and then I bought the mic before this was a HyperX, whatever that one mic was, the Quadro Fury. I don't know what it's called. But I bought that, and then I had a Bose headset, and I was like, okay, it's about the same. So I was like, all right. So for the money, what can I put that money in like gaming headsets to see what the difference is? So then I bought the Arctix Pro, and I found that the Arctix Pro is very good in like low bass and like games that were very like CS:GO, or like where you need to hear footsteps and stuff like that. And then the Astros, and then I bought the Astros too, and then I tried them on, and then they're very good for like cinema, like explosions, very big like noises. And I was like, I don't know what attracts me more, like more the like professional, like, hey, I need to hear all this and that, or like more of the casual listening. Because I was also listening to music too, and I found that the Astros were better with the bass and everything, and just like it just sounded like more like appealing to me. So I went with the Astros, and then I returned everything, and then my bill was like a lot of money. But I was like, yeah, these are for me personally, and not that it's knocking anyone who has the Arctix or whatever other headset that you have. For me personally, that the Astros A50s are the most comfortable headset. It's like, dude, like I barely feel it, and like the cushion on it is like A1, and I can't like. There's no other headset I like. The mic sucks on it, but that's why we have this.
Right. That's
so
see, because like the majority of the time that I've had my PC,
Yeah.
I've gone through like 2 different PCs, and in the beginning, all I had was a Logitech headset that came with the
Mm-hmm.
mic on it, and that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like that same year during Christmas, my brother actually got me this bundle of studio headset, mic,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah, yeah.
a mixer. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
forgot the other word for it, but we'll just go with mixer for now. And it was all PreSonus, and it was all in a bundle, and I had that for like a good 3 years, and it was awesome. And
Mm-hmm.
then like both of the equipment just started fucking up on me,
Mm.
so I started branching out and checking out other stuff. So I ended up using Corsair Virtuoso,
I had that
uh,
too. Returned it.
Razer. I forgot what that headset was, but it was a Razer one.
Man
I
of
even
War,
I even
probably.
tried the Blue Yeti, which I think that one was probably just defective,
Yeah.
because when I was using it, like it was just horrible feedback on Brad and Bailey's end.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just you know I ended up getting that Razer one after the Corsair ended up fucking up, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna go back to um, this type of microphone. I think it's called like DLSR or something like that, which is these microphones that use a
It's
mixer
nuts.
to connect instead of using a
Yeah.
USB
Yeah.
connection.
Right. Right.
And it's always come out. It's always been easier to like fix your sensitivity input and stuff like that. So that's
Oh
why I've
yeah.
stuck with it for so long instead of just using the microphone on these headsets.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I never knew how much of a big difference is having a separate, mic and then having but it really didn't matter because I was console gaming before I was PC gaming, so it didn't matter like what my voice sounded like as long as I got my comms in, then it was fine.
Right.
But now that we all, stepped in the world of streaming and all that, like voice is everything, camera is everything, audio is
Quality.
everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think that, like, for me personally, having this mic is um a must need, especially for
Right.
streams.
And actually, I do want to say this because Billy right now, is that a USB microphone?
This one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That one is really good since you've been using it, but how long have you had that headset? Because that microphone for that headset was so clear and so good for him until he ended up getting Windows 11 when it started fucking up for him.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've had this headset when I first bought my computer, my PC, or yeah, my desktop when I moved out of my parents' place after college. So probably like 5, 6 years I've had this
Wow.
headset.
And that microphone is awesome. I mean, like, there's a huge difference between that one and the one he has now, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
for the most part, I always had issues finding like a good feedback for the microphone on the headset.
The
And
Mhm.
I know
virtuoso though, what I
that one
have you
actually was good. Yeah.
dude, it was so good. The only thing that I so the reason why I returned my virtuoso is because this was during the pandemic, and I was actually still rotating in at my current job on site, and I would have my virtuoso on, and I'm like, working on like desktops and stuff like that, and my ear cups, like the stuff
Yep.
around my ear, bro, sweaty AF, dude. And like I would just because it's leather, like obviously you're getting something premium, so yeah.
Right.
But dude, I couldn't work with them, and they felt heavy. I was like, I mean, not that like I could come in with Astro 850s and be like, you know what I mean? Like I would
Yeah.
look ridiculous. But
Right.
but the virtuoso, they market it as like, oh, these look like regular pair of headphones. Like you can just kind of like get around with it and like have that studio mic quality. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
that's the reason why I got it. But
Yeah, and
I
that one
guess
I really enjoyed it for the time that I was able to use it, but
yeah,
it ended up like it just started messing up in quality from my headset, not the microphone
yeah, yeah.
actually, but the speakers themselves were just like messing up by the time the warranty was up for it.
Of
the
course,
the
of
RMA,
course.
I guess I should say, for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
for
yeah.
the manufacturer, because I never actually
Mm.
got a warranty through Micro Center,
Mm-hmm.
which really pissed me off because it's like, it was just perfect timing to not be able to get the RMA on it.
Right. Micro Center is awesome, dude. I love Micro Center.
It's definitely a techie's candy land.
It is, yeah.
I think the last time I was there, I ended up getting Brad was with me. I ended up getting the new processor for this PC because I ended up going from
you got the i9.
No, the i7.
Well,
Didn't you first do an i9 and then
you went back to the i7 because the i9 was fucking things up for you. Remember?
Yeah.
No, that was the
Dang.
i5.
Was
So
it
that's the
i5?
reason why I went
I
to get a new
thought
processor.
you were an i9 back
Yeah,
then.
because I originally wanted to get the i9, but then like I was doing a lot of reviews because I was only using it for gaming for the most part, and the i9 was not outputting more power than the i7. It was pretty much like, hand in hand for gaming. The i9 probably would have been better for like, other stuff like editing and stuff like that. But
Exactly.
and that's why I ended up going with the i7 afterwards.
At my company, we have engineers that we support. We supply laptops to, and we give them i9s. And one guy asked me if he can game with it. I was like, probably not. And he asked me why, because it was like, i9 versus i7. I told him, I was like, it's more for like hyper threading, like cross threading, like all that stuff because we do a lot of CAD work at our facility. So it's for basically like rotating data like continually all the time. Where for games it's more like a you get and you give and you just keep going type thing. So yeah, i9s
the i9 is
are
more for workstations and stuff like that.
right. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But 9 is bigger than 7. What do you mean I can't game with it?
That's the whole thing, dude.
but 7,
the whole
8, 9.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go shoot myself, man. That was the worst dad
No,
joke.
that was the best. Yo, oh my god.
Timing. It's all in the timing.
It's all in the timing. But you got something to say, Brad?
No,
Okay.
Oh wait,
I
hold
thought you were
on.
gonna say something.
Brad does want to say something. He wants to tell us how amazing Open House was and how he can't wait for Open House 2.
Yeah, it's gone from Brad bringing it up to now only Billy bringing it up.
What do you mean? You bring it up too.
Last time Billy was in town, he lives in. I'm gonna dox you. He lives in Indiana.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he lives in Indiana. So it's a bit of a trip to get over here.
Yeah.
So last time he came over, we watched. We were like scrolling through Netflix trying to find just any kind. So we our thing, at least me and Z for years, and now we're adding Billy to this. We like watching shitty horror movies, or like finding horror movies, and like they usually end up being shitty.
Yeah.
So we're scrolling through Netflix trying to find one, and there's this one called Open House, and like we were reading through it, and it's like, okay, this has an okay premise or whatever. I think didn't Z leave through half of it?
Z left for like the first half because he was taking a shit or something.
Right. Yeah. So Z came in when things were like getting quote unquote good.
Yeah.
Right when I left, things finally fucking happened.
Right. So it ended up being just a really shitty movie. It was terrible. The ending, like the main characters both die, and then you're just like, who the fuck did it?
Yeah,
and there's no resolution. They're just dead, right?
No, we find out an Open House too.
Right. I googled it. There's going to be an Open House too.
What the?
So I mentioned it probably on the first podcast ever.
Yeah.
And then I probably mentioned it again like a couple other times throughout like the
Just
rest
as
of
a
the
joke.
podcast.
I love it. I
Well,
love it.
I don't think it was just a joke because we were talking about horror movie. We talk about horror movies a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we kind of used it as like a joke / like I don't know. I guess
right, it can't be as bad as Open House. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like a kind of like a limit of expectations.
So we said that, and then there was like a day where I realized I was like, I think I have mentioned this on every podcast. So now it's like, all right, I have to bring up this one. Like I'm giving these guys probably more marketing than they ever put out.
Yeah.
So I need to be paid by Netflix, but whatever. That and I think Maligma is going to be a recurring one. Z
Malignant.
Malignant. That was a also god awful movie.
See, I think you're the only one out of all three of us that genuinely hates it.
Malignant?
Open House or Malignant?
Malignant.
I haven't seen
Billy
it.
never watched
so
it.
Okay. Well,
I'm out of the
You-
running there,
yeah,
big
I
guy.
You thought
don't. I
you
don't.
thought it was
I
silly.
don't. I don't. Yeah, it's silly, but I didn't hate
Yeah.
it like I hate Open House.
Don't get me wrong, I hate Open House, but I also hate Malignant.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, next you're gonna say you hate Child's Play.
It's an old movie
Did you-
now. I
did you
mean,
even- Did you even
Did
watch
I ever
that
watch
movie? Child's Play?
Child's Play?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch.
The first one?
Yeah, you've seen Child's Play like the first one?
Yeah. Like the first one?
I've seen that one. I saw the one where he's at like a fucking military camp for some reason.
Yo.
The thing I remember from that
Wait.
military one is they had like a live grenade, and this kid sacrificed himself by jumping on the grenade so it didn't let everyone else chuck you through it at him.
A little sidetrack from that. I don't think I ever watched a horror movie with you, Gerald. But we were in 7th grade, I think, when that first Hangover movie came out, and you had it bootleg. No. You didn't have it bootleg. What you guys had was your fucking satellite box, whatever it was.
Yeah. My dad likes to find different ways to get stuff for
pirate
free.
shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
So like we ended up watching The Hangover on there, dude. We would not stop laughing for like it was to the point where like if anyone was saying anything, we were just laughing.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, my dad, dude, he finds the best and worst way to use technology. Like you would think like he'd be like a tech guy just because like he's super into it, but like he's the like definition of like the Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Right. If anything could be jailbroken, your dad would find the way.
Yeah, I know for real.
Shout out to Jay.
It's like ghetto technology, and I love it. That's like one of my first instances with the iPhone was he got me an iPhone from the Philippines, and I was like so excited. I was like, bro, I'm gonna get an iPhone, dude. And this is like before, like I think during the time the iPhone 3G had just came out, so it was very new.
So when the
And I was like,
chocolates were out.
What happened?
The
Chocolates were like
Chocolates
6th,
were
7th
before,
grade.
Yeah.
Chocolates were like 6th, 7th grade. This is like probably like sophomore year of high school.
Yeah. So I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna get a fucking iPhone, bro. And so he comes home and he gives it to me, and it's like this fat little, like it looks like an iPhone. You turn it around, it feels like an iPhone. I'm like, okay, cool. So you go and turn it on, and it's basically a Android OS running an iPhone skin on it.
Yes.
And I was like,
Your dad tosses you just a
Wasn't-
fresh apple.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there you go. Here's your fucking Apple phone.
yeah.
Wasn't that a big thing? Was it for the first iPhone or the first iPod Touch where you jailbreak it? Like that was just a big thing for one of those two, where you like half the people that had it was jailbroken.
Yes, there was
forgot
a
what the reason
whole
was.
thing. I used to run like a underground, like I don't know why I'm putting this on the web, but I used to run this underground jailbreaking business in high school. I'd have kids come up to me and ask me if ask me to jailbreak their iPod touches for them, and there was information everywhere, and they would throw me like $5 or buy me lunch or something. I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Gerald never did that for me. All I want to do is
Hey,
play
man.
Pokemon on my iPhone.
So, but yeah, like I used to jailbreak. I used to for the Androids, I used to what is that called? Root. I used to root Android phones, and all that stuff. It was fun. It was fun.
He's a hacker man.
No, I just spent way too much time on YouTube. That's my whole
Hey,
thing.
you know what? Since
You're the one who introduced me to YouTube.
Yeah.
Since
I love
you're
YouTube.
here, we could probably finish off this podcast with an amazing story involving Brad and Gerald and
Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh.
my god.
Brad can take the helm of this.
Also, Gerald, I want you to know that this was recorded like early into the conversation when we were
Okay.
talking about puking and shitting and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's fine.
So if you're gonna introduce anyone to this podcast where you're getting high and or we're getting high and you got
Yeah.
drunk. Like this might not be the episode to recommend to people.
Okay, I will. You know what?
It's up to you though. I don't care. It's up to you.
I don't know. My network is like, I don't know, growing a little bit, so I might have to just slide it in there so mere nonsense can grow a little bit too.
Also,
We'll see.
you're always welcome on the podcast whenever you
Of
want.
course, dude.
We do this. We try to do this
Fun.
every night or every Sunday night at like 9.
Every single night.
Every single night.
Every
Every
night
night.
we have
Every night.
thousands of episodes recorded. So Yu-Gi-Oh story to wrap up.
Oh man, I
7th
don't
grade,
even want to. I don't even want to look.
High school, like beginning of high school.
This was
is high
freshman
school.
year, yeah.
Freshman year of high school. So what's funny though is I don't think any of us, or I don't think I was super into Yu-Gi-Oh at this time. Like I think I kind of phased out of it,
Mhm,
and then I was starting to get back into it.
This
mhm.
was because you guys, actually, it was you, Ian, and then like the rest of your crew that started playing it up again. Because by the end of freshman year, you guys had a mini tournament.
We had tournaments, yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah. So this was like my phase where like I was kind of trying to get back into it a little bit. So just thinking back, so fucking stupid.
Wait,
Um,
your first guest, did you guys talk about it or no?
Mike,
'Cause because he was here. He was there.
wasn't Zelmo there? I
No
guess he
way.
was. Yeah, he was with you.
Was he really?
Yeah, yeah. Wait,
No,
or was it the other Michael?
I thought it was just.
wasn't
I thought it
Madden.
was just you, Ian, and.
no,
and
there were
Brad.
four of
there's
us. We
four of
split
us.
it into two.
So then it
There's
was
four of
probably
us.
Anselmo.
We
then.
split it into twos.
Well, all right, we'll have to confirm it with him
What
later.
we were supposed to hang out with Anselmo, if I remember correctly.
Because
Or were you supposed to hang out with
With
you?
him.
I ended up seeing you guys after it happened.
So okay, we were supposed to hang out with you, and you came in afterwards. So it might have been Anselmo was the fourth. I
I'm
don't
pretty
remember.
sure it was-
I want to
I'm
say
pretty sure it was-
if
I'm pretty sure it was him.
yeah, I don't remember
And-
Madden hanging out with.
Well, anyway,
with you
yeah.
guys, but-
Anyways, so we decided to go over to our nearest Meijer or whatever. For those who don't have a Meijer, that's a big grocery store / like you could buy clothes, whatever. We're freshman year of high school, so we fucking walk there, right? So we walk 2 miles to get there, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
All 4 of us are riding the high of playing Assassin's Creed around this time, right? So all of a
Yeah.
sudden,
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna pickpocket people and
Hell yeah.
so we have the brilliant idea of, and I think they've done this before. They fucking wrapped me into it, and like Brad, you're the one with pockets. We're gonna go steal a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So Ian decides to be the handoff guy. He opens the packages and then hands them off to me, and then I pocket them. So looking back, it was the sketchiest fucking thing ever because Ian, over here like. Looking around, like doing this. I'm looking straight fucking forward because he's just handing it to me. So he hands it to me, puts it in my pocket, whatever.
Meanwhile,
and then he throws the wrapper into like whatever nearest like
yeah,
section there is.
yeah. Meanwhile, me and I don't know who I want to say
it's Mike. Let's say
okay.
it's Mike.
I want to say it's Mike. I want to say it's Mike. Me and Mike are in the like the milk section, just looking at milk.
they were gone.
Oh.
We were like in the milk section. We walked all the way around to the right side of the store, which is like the electronics section, and the gardening section. We were just like fucking around with like shovels and shit. So I didn't see any of this going down.
So eventually we start to head towards the front of the store, and we're walking out the front doors, and this guy like jogs in front of us like he's acting like he really fucking just busted like a bank robbery or some shit. We're just like, hold on, boys. And he's like, empty your pockets. And I'm like, what? And he's like, empty your pockets. I know what you did. And so I empty my pockets, whatever. And then he's like, okay, you got to come with me. And he's so, I remember how fucking smug this guy was. And I'm just like, and then like Ian starts to walk with me. He's like, not you. He's the accomplice.
What?
He's the fucking accomplice.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Like Ian was gonna
busted.
walk with me, and then the guy's like, "No, like we caught you. You're the one who had the stuff."
Okay.
And I'm like, "But he's the accomplice."
Yeah. So then Ian comes out, right? He comes out of the door, and me and Mike are walking out the other side of the door, and I see Ian kind of like he does this. It's like I don't know if I got that, but he was basically saying like, "Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go." And Mike and I were confused. We're like, "Oh, okay, let's just start running." So then we start running, and then Ian goes, "Oh, they got Brad. They got Brad." I was like, "What? They got Brad?" And then go ahead. I don't know what happens really after that.
Side note, like this guy, he wasn't like Paul Blart or anything, but he was a bit of a bigger guy.
He's stuck on this guy.
He had nothing better to do.
And well, this
Yeah.
guy pissed me off because like this is probably like the best shape I was ever in until like I was at volleyball or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm fresh out of like I just played baseball for the last however so many years of my life. I'm a runner at this point.
Yeah.
I could have fucking outran this guy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, you're lucky you didn't run. And I'm like,
What are you gonna do?
taught me.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna run straight across fucking traffic and risk
Yeah,
getting
hell
hit by
yeah.
a car. You're not gonna follow me. Like I'm gonna book it, dude. So Paul
Worse
Blart
than
decides to
Yu-Gi-Oh
put me
cards.
in the fucking like front office or whatever, and then sits me there, and then I don't remember. He left for a long fucking time, but they called my parents or whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, you could go away for this," and I'm like,
What?
I'm like
What
14.
are you gonna fucking do?
I'm like 14, dude. And then they like give you the whole spiel of like, don't do it again. We're gonna contact your parents, whatever. But they told me that if I ever get caught stealing in Meyer again, right, I could actually be arrested. But some bullshit line along the lines of, if you are in the store when someone else is caught stealing and we see you there, you could also go to jail for that because you could be an accomplice. I'm like, oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's
my
stupid.
dad, comes over, whatever, beats the shit out of me.
Oh my god.
So, well, okay, but for real, so this was, I think, either the summer, I think this is the summer after the whole Michelle thing, Z, where I got caught sneaking out. So he's just like super disappointed in me at this point, and he's mad at me. Like I probably just got off being grounded, and this man whoops my fucking ass when I get home. I got beat so bad, and I was probably grounded for over a year after that. I was grounded probably from like 7th grade all the way through like junior year of high school for all the different shit like little fucking things I did. Like I think I got caught stealing cookies or whatever in like 8th grade or something. So my dad was probably thinking about that too. Like
it's all just built up stealing.
Liquid.
It's like built up stealing small stuff.
Right.
I had apologized to his parents twice, not once.
Years later,
because I couldn't. So you could say what you want about me, and yes, I did not have a single courage to come and apologize earlier than that.
That's but it took reason why we stopped talking.
But yes, so I came over the first time. Your mom was upstairs. I walked upstairs. I had apologized for it, and then I don't think your dad was home at that time. And then the second time, I believe,
my dad was down. I remember my dad being downstairs on the couch.
Okay, yeah. So then I apologized to him, and then I think the second time was during graduation. I feel like I saw them again, and I had apologized for the situation again.
No, you didn't. The first time you apologized, you didn't apologize until like graduate or until
right, like wholeheartedly, right,
yeah.
like wholeheartedly, yeah.
No, I think that first time that you saw my parents was like senior year because we never hung out in high school.
Oh, really? So it was both times. I apologize in like a time frame. In that time frame.
Well, and then I think you and I hung out or whatever sometime in college, like once, and then you apologized to them. Then I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was. That might have been like one of your parties at your house or something, and then you came to my house for some. I don't.
Yeah, but no,
long story short, like they forgot about it by now, and Gerald's like, "I'm so sorry for doing that."
No, yeah, I mean, it really did because Brad was my first friend when I moved into our hometown. I met him on
Fernando
the.
has that title.
Okay, but Fernando, like, he left me, bro. Fucking
He
Fernando left
me.
my ass,
He
bro.
left me.
He went to go live in Oswego with the nice fucking houses, bro.
Side,
Fuck
side
him.
note on Fernando. Fernando tried selling me bootleg Egyptian god cards.
Oh shit. But yeah, Fernando was my first friend. He taught me how to play soccer and everything. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play soccer. Fuck that. And then I met Brad, and I was like, okay, this is my for real first friend. So I think we met at the bus stop. Didn't we meet at the bus stop?
So it was you were
Or when we
introduced to
were-
the class in first grade, and you sat right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was
No,
like,
no, no.
"Hey, do
And
you
he-
like Dragon?" I was probably like, "Hey, do you like Dragon Ball Z?"
And he touched my butt. I was like,
Oh,
oh
there
shit.
we
And then I would go to Gerald's house in first grade. I remember this, like first or second grade, or whatever. We would
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to your house, to your basement to play Smash.
Oh my god.
And I remember
to
you and I
Smash.
being really nervous about cussing.
Yeah.
And then you and I'm like, "Fuck you, you shit, fuck you." Fuck you."
Oh man, we were just some kids, man.
No, what really sealed the deal was you guys were not sitting in front of each other. There was one kid in between you guys, and you beat the shit out of him.
Hey, Reggie, yeah.
First grade.
I didn't touch that man. I just pushed him. Nah.
I probably kicked him twice. Okay,
Yeah.
he gave me a bloody nose. All right.
I may have moved my hand to wipe his boogers out in a slapping formation.
In a hard slapping formation.
Yeah.
On a side note of swearing,
May or may not know.
Brad's sister is like the equivalent of stop fucking swearing.
Dude, oh my god.
Like,
The one who's
I was
getting
over
married
at
to?
your place.
Yeah.
Like I forgot what I said, but she just comes in and is like, "I heard you. Why are you swearing?"
Z said fuck. Z said fuck. Right? Like whatever, you know. And then like 2 weeks
Yeah.
later, she's driving me with her boyfriend at the time, right? And she says something, fuck, right? And I'm like, hello.
Yo, who was it when we were playing 007 at
It's
your?
pretty.
No, I know.
Oh, you,
But-
me, and David.
Okay. Dude, that night was so funny because we were I don't know, like the sleepover high. We get sleepover high.
Yeah.
That's what I'll call it. And we're giggling the fuck out of like everything that like anything would happen, we'd giggle. And then I don't know
We're
where
playing fucking Nightfire on the goddamn GameCube.
the GameCube. She walks in, she's like, "Shut the fuck up," or like,
She's like,
"Shut
I'm
up.
trying to
I'm
sleep.
trying to sleep," and we're like.
You know what's funnier than 24?
Yo, I was fucking dying, dude.
So that same guy, David, ended up moving when we started high school, and
Yeah.
whose house did we sleep over?
Is
His old house, right?
Well,
Because
so
it
we
was
had
right before
one-
we started freshman year.
we slept over his old house, and then I don't know if you were there, but I slept over his
I
new
was not
house.
there for the new one. Yeah, okay, cool. So
The housewarming.
because fucking Brad, dude.
Madden.
Like, yeah, Brad and Madden. So like, they have this thing of Tabasco sauce, I think it was, and Brad just chugs the fucking bottle, and like, Madden takes like one little drop of it. Brad has like one random fart and it doesn't smell. And then Madden, we literally had to suffocate him in his own sleeping bag because
He was farting in his sleep.
his farts were just like destroying the whole room. So-
Oh my god.
That's fucking
but
awesome.
the one that I missed was probably like the funniest story I've heard because Brad said something about the TV being shitty and David
This
Stan walks in.
Fucker. So, all right, David's new house. We slept over there,
Yeah.
and there were 4 or 5 of us, like trading off playing MW2 on like probably like a an okay sized TV. You know, it wasn't that
Mhm.
small, but you're splitting it into 4.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were there, right? So we
was there, I
split it
was
into 4, and I'm like you have to like lean in and look at it, and I'm used to playing on my big ass TV just by myself,
yeah.
you know. So he comes out, he's like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" It's like, "Oh, good." I was like, "Yeah." I slightly mentioned something about like, "Yeah, I can barely see my character on the screen right now," but that's one, I'm blind. 2, the tiny ass screen, and then this man acts like I just slapped him in his fucking face. You know, he's just like, oh, like not that dramatic, but like that's how that fucking priss of a man was.
Oh my god.
Oh,
His dad's like a fucking self-made millionaire, and he's jealous or he's mad that I made fun of my portion of the screen. You know, like this is before flat screens were a thing. Like, come on.
And Brad was the only one that had one at the time.
Right.
So HD.
Yeah. I still had a fucking box TV. I go over to Brad's house to play Gears of War. I'm just like, oh my god, dude, it's so HD. And then it got even better when I started wearing glasses.
Oh
HD times 2.
Wait. How late did you wait to get glasses? Because
So
I waited.
I wore them.
so
I wore
long.
them in a little bit during 7th grade.
Yeah.
And then I stopped wearing them until by the end of sophomore year. I started wearing them again.
Imagine deciding not to wear your
I
glasses.
imagine
Yeah.
I imagine I would be way smarter academically if I had invested in glasses way earlier, because dude, I think I had.
Matt's over here thinking he can't read. You just can't see
Bro,
the letters.
that's what I'm saying, bro. I was like stupid because I'm like in the back of the class, like, and then they're like, "Oh no, he's just Asian." No. But like for real, like I would be a guy there. I'm like, I could barely see, but I wouldn't tell my mom, like, whatever, right? And then it wasn't until I think like junior year or even senior year I waited and I actually got glasses. And the first time I wore my glasses was on a basketball court, and I was like, what the, like, this shit's crazy. So
You know what's wild?
probably
Do you guys when you're driving at night, do you see lines of light?
Yeah.
Do you have a
You know what I'm
stigmatism?
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that was an astigmatism thing. I thought
Okay.
everyone saw like that. And I'm
No.
driving at night all the time, and I'm like, it's so fucking bright. Why is everything so
You know,
bright? That's a me thing.
Like
Yeah.
I never noticed that. Like I never paid attention to that. I guess I should say until I started seeing those memes pop up in like the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Like what people see when they have astigmatism versus regular people.
It's
I
like, oh,
didn't know that. I'm getting hopefully my new glasses this week. I think it's been over 3 weeks. So my glasses I had the little nose part fall off, and this was really sharp. So I actually had to go and get a nail file and file away at it for like 20 minutes just to get it down because it was actually cutting my nose.
Okay, how fucking... I feel like a boomer because yesterday I told my sister, I'm like, what's up, Four Eyes? And she's just like, what is that? What does that mean? I'm like,
oh my God.
Are you fucking serious, dude?
That's a 90s thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we didn't say that to each other growing up, but I mean, like you've heard the term.
No, right, of course.
Or call her Urkel. See what she said.
Oh,
Right?
God,
It's like
you
even
can't
further back.
understand that.
I went to I told this story on the stream the other day, and we went to the Jingle Ball concert where I guess Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, all them were performing, and Black Eyed Peas was performing, and I was like, oh shit, Black Eyed Peas, like what's up? Like, oh, this is cool. And there's a kid behind me, and then I didn't hear it at the time, but my wife had told me afterwards. He goes, hey, is this boomer music? I was like, boomer music, Black Eyed Peas? I was so
my
livid, dude. I was
God.
like, are you kidding me, dude? I was like, who are you here for? Lil Nas X? Like, what the heck? I was livid.
Boomer music.
Is this boomer music, bro? I was like, what? How old am I? What year is this?
Apparently you're a
I don't know
fucking
what the hell.
boomer.
Yeah, apparently. But they had the best performance of everyone too, which is crazy.
Oh, of course I do.
I mean,
You
They know how
holding
to-
in there? You holding in there, Billy?
only
Yeah, holding in. I was just you guys were talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh stories, and I was gonna pull my deck and be like, I still have mine right here, but I was going through them, and you guys know how like I have that big spellcaster spell counter deck, right?
Yeah.
I was going through
In real life or on Master Duel?
real life. Well, I don't have my spell counter deck on Master Duel,
Bofa.
but I was going through and I was like, oh, so this one's my Blue Eyes deck. And no, it's just a regular Dark Magician deck with, you know, I have like 5 different artworks for the Dark Magician. So I was like going through and admiring them and looking at them and whatnot. I've got Eternal Soul. I've got 4 different artworks of Dark Magician Girl. So I was just going through and I was reminiscing. Now I have to find my Blue Eyes.
Do you have the
now,
OG
so.
Dark Magician one?
Yeah, so I just put them away, but I'll pull them out. I've
Yeah,
got
just whip it out.
just whip it right out for you. I've got a couple of them. I was actually looking at prices too. Some of them
What
are
the
worth
fuck?
like $50.
That's Billy's
Yeah.
POV.
You better watch it, or else I'm gonna steal those.
What the fuck is going on?
You
I'm
ever
gonna
get
steal
up here again?
those.
God. But I think some of them I got from when we, because I think we went out when I last visited. We went out and bought some, didn't we?
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, we did.
Oh my
actually.
God.
Gerald,
We went
Gerald.
to
Oh my God.
Target.
Gerald,
Zero.
give him your little card opening camera that you use so we can see.
The one for the
Oh.
hands.
Dude, Zuriel, I owe you money, Zuriel.
For what?
I owe you money because we went to the card shop. Do you remember this? Do you remember this?
No.
Okay. We went to the card shop together. And this was like during the time deck boxes was a thing, but it wasn't around anywhere.
Okay.
And you had bought me a deck box. It was a yellow one. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay you. I think it was like $7. I never paid you.
Damn.
I'm a bad friend, guys.
All right, well,
if
if you must, you know,
Inflation's a
it's
thing.
10 years interest.
Inflation is a thing now. Like you owe a lot of money on
You
that.
owe $100 at least.
I'll just give you one of my shoes. We'll be fine.
Please.
We'll be
Yeah, I've got the
Just I
With
want
the
that one,
original.
the left one.
Give me
I want
the
whole
one under the
collection of
purple
DBZ.
ones.
the one under the purple one. These ones.
Give me that Master Ball.
These are the
Master
Vegeta
Ball.
shoes.
Yeah, exactly, because I like Vegeta, so
Okay.
just give me it.
I believe it.
Bro, name one show Vegeta's been in.
Bro,
What
Vegeta is in Naruto.
Codename Kid 64.
Code
He's in
Name
Code
Kid
Lyoko, bro.
He was actually number 4. He was number 4.
Do you remember? You're joking. Do you remember that episode, Z?
No, what?
Where they
Oh,
freaking
yeah,
had the DBZ
yeah.
crossover.
Yep.
What?
Well,
is that the thing?
they gave him the Super Saiyan hair.
Yeah.
Number
yeah.
4.
Well, they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
looked like bread.
Yeah.
Delightful Children or like Frieza or whatever.
Mhm,
Right,
yep.
right. Yeah,
Like
okay.
a
I know. I know what you're
Hydra
talking
Frieza.
Yeah,
about. I thought it was like for real.
No.
Or Billy and Mandy when they
Hey.
did the crossover. Is that what you guys are talking about? Or no?
Billy and Mandy though.
No.
They did the
Um,
crossover for that too.
You remember number 4 though, right?
Mhm.
Number
Yeah,
4.
that was actually Brad. He had the same hairstyle, the same attitude, the same clothes, minus the British accent.
British was it
Oh.
Australian?
I don't know.
It was.
man.
I think it was Australian. So this
but
has
that
been
was
the Mere
definitely
Nonsense
Brad.
podcast. The wifey probably does want to get in here if you guys want to wrap up.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was nice
Shut
having
up! You
on
want to
here,
go to bed?
Gerald.
You work tomorrow.
We should definitely do this again sometime.
Yes, dude. I
Yeah.
would love to come back if you guys will have me.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about kicking Billy off. So that way you can be permanent third.
Fuck.
He's like, my out. I am finally gone.
I don't have to be the
has-
third wheel anymore.
Been the Mere Nonsense podcast. Deuces.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Bye, guys.